my brother's keeper. I'm my sister's guide. Standing here together with nothing left to hide. We lift each other up when the world feels torn apart. We're keepers of the flame. We're the healers of the heart.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. Welcome to the indomitable, the inevitable, the invariable, the in whatever-ables that we can come up with. Lord Kiss Freak Chris Charlebois. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So, Chris, how many people get your last name wrong?
All of them. Anybody who doesn't speak French.
That's exactly what I was thinking, yes. I speak about elementary school level French, but at least I know how to, irresistible. Oh, that's a good one. Irrevocable. Ooh, Indigo's on fire. All right. No, I moved to a teeny weeny itty bitty little 200-person French town in middle Alberta when I was about 12 years old or so. And I started out knowing Sesame Street French. So you remember back in the day, Sesame Street had like a French word every day, and it was frequently the same word. But then I moved there, and after about a year, I became, or by the time I left 3 years later, I was the top in my class in French.
Wow.
So yeah, it's in there somewhere. It's just a muscle that needs to get worked at, and then you can use it. So you are a Frenchman. Yes. You live in what province?
Ontario.
Ontario. Okay. So you are probably around 24-hour drive away from me or more, depending on the roads and stuff. Yes. I was going to ask you something, and now I forgot what it was. So introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, what you do, what passions you have. Who is Chris Charlebois?
Oh, I'm a truck driver in a gold mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what are some of the things that you really enjoy?
I enjoy fishing, camping, fixing or building stuff in my garage.
Okay. Okay. So you're a handy kind of guy.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Cool. And your name is Lord Kiss Freak. Why would you choose that as a moniker?
It started out as Kiss Freak because I'm a huge Kiss fan.
Yes. There you go.
And the Lord came on later because I don't know how real it is, but those buy a piece of land in Scotland and become a lord.
I was going to ask about that. Yes. You did that? Yeah. Okay, so yes, you are Lord Kiss Freak. Okay. Legitimately, he's a laird. He's a laird of the Kiss Freak. Yeah. That's awesome. So Indigo wants to know, what is your favorite camping spot?
In the woods.
Anywhere the bears poop. You're good.
Yeah, usually by a river or a lake where I can fish offshore. I don't need to bring a boat.
Yeah. Are you a tender or a camperer?
It's used to be always a tent.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's more camper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to have one of those face masks. We call it a snorkelator. The CPAP things. So I need electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else nobody around sleeps anywhere for at least, a good
not even
kilometer radius. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sonorous. I'm pretty noisy. Mandy wants to know what music you're listening to these days.
I mostly listen to music at work in my truck.
Okay.
And lately it's been pretty obviously just Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there much other music that you enjoy, or is it simply
Oh
it
yeah.
has narrowed down?
Well, I'm
Okay, so
mostly
what do you
into
enjoy?
the 70s, 80s rock.
Yeah.
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 But I like some of the newer stuff too. A little bit of hip hop and
Mm-hmm.
country, not really.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. People who enjoy Kiss don't frequently enjoy country.
Yeah. Like there's the
Yeah.
odd song here and there, but that's about it.
Yeah. 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 In my early 20s, I lived in a city where country music was the thing. Like listening to hip hop or anything like that was just not, it just wasn't available.
Yeah.
And so I became a real big fan of early 1990s country. And, just really enjoyed that. And then I moved away to a city where that wasn't the case. Everything was available, and my boyfriend hated country. So I learned to like other music. And so I have really very diverse tastes, very, very diverse tastes.
Yeah.
Indigo mentions that the ground hurts more when you when you get older.
Yeah.
And it's harder to get up off it, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. Yes. So how big a trailer do you have?
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
My tenants, which is one of my best friends, him and his son both have one, so I usually share with his son.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
One's like a 32 foot, and the other one's like 24, 26.
Okay. We have a little 21 foot that we take camping.
Yeah. But
it's just for me and my husband. It's kind of nice.
If I was to buy one for myself, a 16 foot would be good enough.
That's actually what we just sold. We sold our 16 to 18, somewhere in there, and bought this one. It's a little bigger, but my husband's 6 feet tall, and he had to sleep kind of scrunched up on the bed a little bit in the smaller one. It was a beautiful trailer. It was like top of the line for 16 feet, like it had everything you wanted, and it was in great shape, but he just was not as comfortable sleeping on it. So, yeah. So have you ever seen Kiss in concert? What a silly question.
I did in 2013 in Ottawa.
Ooh, nice. And how many times have you seen them? Just the one time?
Just the once. I went back last year for their final show in Canada. And we were like feet away from the door waiting to get in. I had VIP tickets to see the sound check.
For sure.
And we waited, and then someone came out and said, show's canceled. Paul Stanley got sick, and he had to cancel like 4 shows in a row.
Oh, what a heartbreak.
Oh, yeah. I jumped in my truck and made the trip home right then and there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, why bother if you're not going to get what you need? Oh, that's terrible. Okay. And Daniel's here. Hey, Daniel. And we've got other restrained. Howdy doody.
And for the other part of Crystal's question, have I ever met them?
Yes.
No, I have not. I came this close to Paul Stanley because he has that stage in the middle of the crowd where he flies to. I was right beside it. And I showed him, it's upside down there. It's his face.
Oh, wow.
I'll stand up and show it. And I showed it to him. Nice. He gave me a wink and a thumbs up. And Gene Simmons' wife, Shannon Tweed.
Yes.
Fellow Canadian.
That's right.
She was standing there while dancing away, and I noticed her. I nudged my ex. I'm like, hey, look who's over there. And she started screaming. And Shannon noticed, and she, come on over. So we took pictures with her, had a little chat. Well,
Oh,
yelled in each other's ears.
had a slight yell at each other. Yeah. The yelling chap that wasn't angry. Yep.
That's the closest I got to kiss.
Oh, wow. Well, talking to Shannon, I think that's pretty good. You probably wouldn't get that at a usual meet and greet.
Nope.
Nope. Yes.
And
wow.
looking at my pictures after the concert, 'cause I took pictures from every angle, the crowd, everything. Jean's daughter was there.
Oh.
Paul's wife was there. I got pictures of them.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is so cool. Yes. Yeah. When you get to meet or be in really close proximity to somebody you've admired for so long, like when did you first become a Kiss fan?
I'd say about 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
What took you so long?
I don't know.
I think you and I are pretty close to the same age, I imagine. You're in your early 50s, are you?
I just turned 49 last Sunday.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thanks.
49 is nothing to sniff at. That's for sure. Okay. And you were telling me earlier that you drive truck. Where is it that you drive a truck?
In a gold mine about 4.5 hours west of where I live.
Okay.
Little tiny town called Geraldton. People have heard of Thunder Bay. It's 3 hours east of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I have a very vague idea of where Thunder Bay is.
Yeah.
My knowledge of other provinces.
Just above Lake Superior.
Okay, that I know. That one I know. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a daughter who has been living in Windsor for the last several years, and she's moving away from Windsor, and she's going to be probably only about 5 hours away from our house instead of 24 hours away from our house. So that's exciting that she's moving to a place a little closer. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were saying that you have some kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 daughters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're allowed to tell me about them? Because I know I have children who would be very angry at me if I let anything go about them.
Well, I'm not going to go and just say their names.
Yeah, don't dox the kids.
But my oldest is turning 24 this year.
Oh, wow. Nice.
He's been married for 3 or 4 years. Married very young.
Yes, for sure.
For nowadays, anyways.
For sure, yep.
She's a nurse in a nursing home.
That's a hard job. That is not an easy job to have.
Oh, yeah. And she actually started right during COVID.
Oh, wow.
She had to finish her schooling online. Well, mostly online. And then she jumped right into it.
Well, in Ontario in particular, during COVID was really, really rough in the nursing homes. Like, man, they were getting nursing students to come do nursing jobs.
Yep.
So she got stuck right into the fire, didn't she?
Yep.
Holy moly. Wow. I hope she still likes her job. It's probably a little easier these days than it was just a few years ago. But yeah. Indigo wants to know if you're on the road a lot. Do you stay mainly in Canada? Have you traveled much outside of Canada?
I've been outside of Canada once.
Ooh, where'd you go?
Michigan.
So really far is what you're saying. You went a whole
down the road.
4, maybe 2 hours.
I think I was 2 hours south of the border.
Yeah. Yeah, traveling. We are so lucky living in Canada. The place is huge. If you travel even throughout Canada, there is so much to see. Have you done much traveling throughout Canada?
East, I've been right to the end. Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom's side of the family is all from New Brunswick.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That's cool. Where in New Brunswick?
A little town called Boys Town.
I've heard of that. I'm not sure where it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it is either. But I haven't been there. I've been to the province.
Yes. Okay.
Fredericton.
Boys Town. Boise town?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's an area in either Vancouver or Toronto called Boys Town, and it's not the same.
No.
It's BOYS. Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's just like a 2-block. Yeah. Anyway. So, okay, cool.
And west, I've been as far as Regina.
Ooh, come to God's country is what you did. What took you to Regina?
Went to the flatlands.
Yep. What did you do in Regina?
I was spending time with an online friend.
Okay, nice. Nice. I actually have to say I have lived in almost every topography in Canada. So almost every, I've lived by the coast. I've lived near mountains. I've lived in the flatlands. I've lived all over the place. And honestly, I really like the prairies. It just, yeah. When I look around in the spring and summer, and even in the fall, I see productive land that's doing stuff.
Yeah, all farmland.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And I live in a town about this big. There's more people in a local shopping mall at any point in time than live in my town. So it's tiny, and it's surrounded by fields. And I have to say, I really love it. But then again, I also love going to see the mountains. They are majestic, absolutely gorgeous. And the ocean, holy moly. Wow, that is so cool. Watching the tides rise and fall, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. So, yeah. What is the favorite thing that you have about where you live right now?
The fishing.
The fishing. What kind of fish do you get?
Usually pickerel or walleye. Goes by both names. A little bit of catfish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with catfish as much. It's there's not a lot of that around here.
No.
We get jack, otherwise known as northern pike.
Okay. Yeah, we get lots of those, but we don't usually keep them.
They're not the best fish, are they?
No. Only when the water's super cold.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's what I keep telling my husband. It's like, sweetheart, don't bring home any fish that you catch in the summer unless we're way up north. Because otherwise they just taste super fishy.
We also have sturgeon.
Are you allowed to keep a sturgeon that you catch? No, I didn't think so. We aren't either.
That's Canada wide, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how big are the sturgeon close to you?
Well, I've seen 45 pounds.
Wow.
But they grow a lot bigger than that.
Oh, they sure do. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Indigo. Yes, they are.
Yes, northern pike are kind of jerks. And Crystal wants people to know, for our U.S. neighbors, Regina, Regina is the capital of Saskatchewan, where Kim and I live. Yes, we live in the province of Saskatchewan. Really easy to draw. It's a rectangle. Really hard to spell. So yeah. Yeah. So what are some of the things you like to do while you're camping besides fishing? Or is that about it?
sit around the campfire.
Mm-hmm.
Just
My husband likes going on hikes in the wilderness. Do you enjoy that?
yeah, a little bit.
You sound like me. Well, yeah, if I have to. Usually if I have to, it's to find a bathroom somewhere. But, beyond that, it's okay. Yeah. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Indigo wants to know why we can't keep the sturgeon.
Because they're endangered.
Mm-hmm. And why are they endangered?
Overfishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, overfishing because they are a very muscular fish, right? Like they have very good meat. And indigenous people, are they allowed to keep them? Because I know they have different rules.
They are. Yes, they are. I've caught one here, and there was a family of indigenous people fishing beside us. They weren't catching anything that day.
Oh, no.
And we pulled it out, and I'm like, here, you want it? He took it, and he was happy.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. With indigenous people in Canada, I don't know about in the US. There are very different wildlife harvesting laws, like hunting and fishing and that kind of stuff. Very different laws between them and non-indigenous. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm not going to get into politics and ask how you feel about those things. That's a bit of a hot button topic here in Canada. Yeah. So, yeah. It's the tradition of indigenous people is you hunt and you fish to feed your family, not just for the sport. And that sturgeon, if it was any reasonable size, would have fed their family and a few others probably for the next while. So yeah, that's one thing I love about the indigenous culture. There's so much more community oriented. And that's what I love about the culture that we've been building here online. We aren't as, we're not physically close, but we're close people.
Any other group, there's good and there's bad. Some abuse it, and most just get what they need to feed their family, and that's it.
Yep. That's right. Yeah, exactly. We have several friends who are indigenous who some people call them Native Canadians, some people call them natives, some people call them indigenous. I tend to lean toward indigenous. It just is a word that makes sense to me. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's like you said, there are good and bad in every bunch, especially us Western Canadians. There's some pretty nasty ones of us. I can't. I'm kidding. Yeah. Yes, Corner Gas was from Saskatchewan. Yep. It was from a town not very far away from where my mom used to live at the time that the show was being
wasn't
filmed.
Letterkenny out there too?
Probably. I don't know. I don't follow that show.
Maybe Alberta.
Could very well be Alberta. Yeah. They were very redneck. I remember. Yeah. Yeah. No, you want strict rednecks, you go to Alberta. It's kind of the show is kind of slow, I'll agree with you, but then again, so is life in Saskatchewan. And that's kind of nice. Moose Creek. I've never heard of a Moose Creek. Moose Lake, I've been to. I used to camp there for years and years. I used to camp at Moose Lake. But so what's your favorite lake or river that you like to camp at? What's close to you?
Here it's the Matagami River.
Mm-hmm.
We usually camp along that one.
Okay.
We got a spot just outside of town that it used to be another separate little town called Jacksonboro.
Okay.
And there used to be a big pier that went halfway across the river. So there's a big opening there. There's room for campers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's usually one of the spots we go to.
Okay. Okay. Now, something else that is a part of who you are. It doesn't define you, but it's your hat. Tell me about your hat. I know what your hat is,
No,
but there may be some people who don't.
That's basically in protest of the lifeboat.
Mm-hmm.
Chase the Heat,
Mm-hmm.
and relatable Reese.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's F those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a group of YouTubers who kind of make the FTG guys. Is that right?
Yeah, they started way before I was involved
Oh,
with them.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first heard of them, I had no idea, no clue how right they were about so much about these people. Like, how on earth did they get so much knowledge that the rest of us didn't have, kind of thing, you know?
Well, they were members before everything happened, so
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how they came across the real names, but they did some digging and they found out a lot.
Did they ever? Yes, absolutely. Yes, I'm the Noise Opera, loves you. Yes, absolutely. Now, okay, I'm terrible with names. Is Noise Opera Nick?
Yes.
Okay.
And Nick can tell you the guys that started the FTG, we knew them before everything went down.
Wow. Wow. Yep. And Brian is right. It's funny how all these YouTube communities seem to have crossed paths, and the way things have played out is just, yeah. It just makes you shake your head.
Well, if Brett would have never brought Reese over, we would have never known half of these channels.
For sure. For sure. I would still be following Brett, no problem. Yeah. I have a few friends who still follow Brett. Just
we all do.
Yeah, like beyond logic.
Yep.
But anyway. And yeah, Indigo says, behind the scenes is a messy place. And being a member of the channels opened my eyes to a lot.
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. Being a member, you get to learn things about people, about channels, about communities that don't get the glossed over view that so many just front of stage things get.
Like even before Alan and Hef did their first video, I had a foot out the door.
Yeah.
And after that, I came across a lot of new channels.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's just kind of wild. So one thing, though, that you've also had in common with Brett is that you have spent time inside, as they say.
Yes, a few times.
A few times, okay.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I want you to know, never going to judge you for your past. Never, never, never. Okay.
I've done an interview on the lifeboat about it. I talked about it on Susie's channel.
Yeah.
And I did a live with Sam and Russ.
Yeah.
On After the Bar.
Well, I have some questions though for you, because I have heard the American version of what prison is like. I'd like to hear your take on how the Canadian version is different from the American, like terms and culture and all of those things. What are the same? What are different? Because other people seem to talk a lot, and you're kind of a quiet guy. I want to hear your perspective.
Well, in the provincial, anyways, where I was, it's nothing like what you hear about from the States, like all the fighting and gangs, and there's none of that here.
Really?
Yeah. You're all thrown in together, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
If someone doesn't get along with most of the group, then they get kind of tossed out. They end up in protective custody, what they call it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if ever I ask you anything that's none of my business, say, you'd just rather not talk about it. Okay. I have a feeling since you've talked about these things on other shows, you'll be fine. But what were you arrested for?
There was an assault.
Okay.
Then the other one was, she's not here, mischief.
Yep.
Which was keying a car.
Okay. Yeah.
A couple of times was breach of probation. 4 of those other times before.
Yes.
They'd throw me in until court, and then a month later I was out.
Yeah.
And the last one was the long one. I did 90 days weekends at 2 days at a time, not 3 like most people.
Wow. Okay.
So it took like a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
For trafficking.
Okay. All right. And Indigo wants to know, is there's isolations or the shoe in Canadian prisons like U.S. prison?
Yeah, they call it the hole, like most places do.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's usually if you get in a fight or whatever, that's where they toss you.
Yep.
That or suicide watch.
Okay.
I hope we're far enough in that it's okay.
Oh yeah, 32 minutes, we're good. And I'm not monetized anyways, so
yeah.
Say what you need. No, I lived in Prince Albert, where there's a fairly large penitentiary there, and they had the shoe, and they called it the special handling unit, not the special housing unit.
Yeah, that would be federal, I think. If it's a penitentiary, it's usually federal.
That's federal. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that's where essentially the protective custody people would go, is the special handling unit.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I know is a little different. So yeah. Hey, Angie Wilson, nice to see you.
Hi, Angie.
Is she a friend of yours?
Yes.
Excellent. I haven't met her before, so nice to see you, Angie. So in your weekends of incarceration, what kind of things would you notice that would be the same or different in what you've heard between the American and the Canadian systems?
Sorry, what was the question?
That's okay. You were typing.
Yeah.
In your weekends that you were there, just what sorts of differences? Like you said, they just kind of throw everybody in and you hang with whomever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, usually. But the weekend, we call them the weekenders.
Yeah.
They have their special range or dorm, and they're all kept together. And there too, if someone, either for fighting or someone that's constantly being picked on and they ask for it, they'll pull them out of there and put them in a cell on their own.
Okay. Yeah. But dormitories are more common, are they? Dorms?
Yeah. It was all dorm style.
Okay.
I think there was one dorm where they locked 2 guys per cell at night. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Probably the most violent offenders and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. When Jen Marie's here. Hey, Jen. Nice to see ya. when somebody like, for example, PDF gets caught, is it the same reaction in Canada as it is in the States?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't tend to last very long.
Usually those are the ones that end up straight in PC.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they get attacked out in there, then they go to solitary, the whole.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I am incredibly well versed. Well, my dad was a PC.
No.
Or a PDF. He was somebody who took advantage of my older sister for many, many years. He got arrested and got sentenced to 2 years less a day. Doesn't that sound lovely? He's anyway, he spent about 3 months in, and he figured that just showed him how little what he did actually meant. Yeah. So the Canadian,
you got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like someone going to steal at a corner store and getting a little bit of probation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. In the US, we have federal prisons. Then there's also high max, low max, medium max, depending on your crime, and if you're long-term, depending on your behavior. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
So why are they called max if it's not maximum security? That doesn't make entirely very much sense to me.
I'm pretty sure for federal, like right across the country here, we have different security levels too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I've never been on that side of it.
Okay. Yeah, no, until my dad got arrested, I wanted to be a lawyer. I really wanted to be a lawyer. And then my dad got arrested, got sentenced with what he did. And I'm like, okay, there's no justice in the Canadian justice system. I cannot support that. So I became a hairdresser instead. That's pretty equivalent, isn't it? Yeah. No, it's amazing how your perspective changes. For example, my perspective having been the child of somebody who's like that, and your perspective having been in jail, perhaps with somebody who's like that. Yeah, it would be similar but different enough that it's there's a sense of justice, I think, that somebody who's been in prison will have compared to somebody who hasn't been in prison, that kind of stuff. You know, like we have a sense of justice, but it's not the same, exactly the same kind. Yeah, wow. I went to jail at 17 in Vanier in Milton, Ontario for a weekend. Traumatizing because one side of the fence was 16 and 27-year-olds on the other. Oh, wow. The adults would have been scary.
Yeah.
Yep. So Angie, what, if it's okay, what were you in for? Put in and out of detention centers all before that as a teenager, but those are kiddie jails. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's having the interest that I do in the justice system. I would love to have shows like Sammy and Brett and you and Russ and all of those have been on, but I have no standing whatsoever when it comes. Like, I got no cred, none. I am pretty much white bread. What can I say? But I'm fascinated with the culture as well. Also knowing, uttering death threats. Okay, the adults wanted to scare us straight. Angie was in for uttering death threats. And of all the things I got away with, that's the only one probably that she got caught for. Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Uttering death threats, the one I didn't do. Oh, no. Oh, wow. So uttering death threats is the one you didn't do. The pain of the injustice was enough to keep me out of trouble. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. See, now that's the thing. In Canada, you can get in trouble for what you say.
Yeah.
In the States, they have that whole First Amendment thing, and you can say almost anything.
Yeah.
As long as you don't act on it. So uttering death threats in Canada is apparently a jailable offense. So
yeah, and it doesn't have to be the person you're talking to that's reporting it. Someone hears you say, "I'll kill you," then you're talking about sports or whatever. Then someone else can call it in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. See, I taught English as a subsequent language to adults, immigrants and refugees for many years. And what I would tell them is you are free to worship the way you want, love the way you want, do all sorts of things the way you vote the way you want. You're free to do all of these things, live where you want. What you're not free to do is hate. And that would be the uttering death threats portion of living in Canada. That's part of our ethos. That's kind of who we are. Oops, wrong one. It sucked for me because I was an a-hole and I needed to get a reality check before I went for something much worse. Absolutely. Yeah. So Angie, it sounds like you straightened out before you hit the magic 18-year-old. Yeah. Okay. So Indigo says death threats are a different matter altogether and do not fall under free speech. Free speech is specifically meant for freedom of the press, but it's been misused in recent years just to justify bad behavior. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I'm really grateful that Angie got scared straight too. Yeah. Talking about mental health to certain groups, I got to go to a women's halfway house, where you get released from into out of the pen, out of the women's penitentiary.
Yeah.
Before they hit the world, talking to them. And one of the ladies asked if I believe that babies were ever born broken. I'm like, what do you mean? And she said she was about 9 years old the first time she attempted to kill somebody.
Wow. I
know, that just, and she's like, I have just felt that way my whole life. I have had those feelings, my whole life. A baby being born broken, just, I have to shake my head and hug my own kids tighter and be really grateful that that's not something that I ever had to worry about with them. So, yeah. So you have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
You were telling me, now see, this is where my brain goes. I have no idea if it was before we were on the air or after. That one.
Yeah, we were talking about my oldest, that she was a nurse and married and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
We did talk about her on here.
Okay.
And my youngest will be 17 in August.
Oh, wow. Okay. So she's still pretty young yet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we won't talk about her.
She's with her mom in New York.
In New York? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Is that where mom was from?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say she overstayed her visa and then got sent back.
Okay. All right. So Angie was 6 years old when she was chasing her babysitter around with a butcher knife because she wanted to give me watermelon instead of ice cream. I told you I was an a-hole. Yeah, I actually had a kid that I babysat who was, if her blood sugar ever went down, she would get violent. And I don't know how accurate that was, or if that was just an excuse her parents were giving me to allow her to get away with certain things. because the kid would specifically not eat and would not allow me to feed her. She was about 10 years old. And she's like, no, I'm not having breakfast. I'm not having a snack. I'm not having this, that, and the other thing. And she made her blood sugar go down so that she could claim that her blood sugar was down so she could be violent with me. So, yeah, that just is, I don't know how accurate the actual diagnosis was, but that was my experience, unfortunately. So, yeah. Yeah. Do you have siblings, etc.?
I have 2 brothers, and it's a half sister, but I'd still call her my sister.
Yeah. I have a half sister as well, and I call her my sister. I only met her 2 years ago, but it's one of those things. You're either family or you're not. Kind of an all or nothing kind of girl.
But I was raised with the oldest of the second oldest brother. Mm-hmm. And because my mom left, I was 4. She was pregnant with the third brother.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And have they all basically been on the straight and narrow the whole time?
Pretty much, yeah. The younger brother got into trouble a bit too. He did a bit of time here in Ontario. Okay. He was raised in Prince Edward Island. But he moved to Ontario for a few years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Angie's saying, yeah, she had untreated mental health issues and parents weren't treating me for, and they were both horrible alcoholics. That's a whole recipe right there for a lot of dysfunction. Yeah. What was your family like growing up?
It was just me, my brother, and my dad, basically. Mm-hmm. But practically my whole life, we lived right next door to my grandmother.
Oh,
so
wow, nice.
Everybody always thought that my aunts and uncles were my brothers and sisters.
Great big French Catholic family, was it?
Especially when the youngest of my aunts is 3 years older than me.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, did you grow up Catholic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the whole altar boy thing. And
oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, the town I lived in that I said was itty bitty was like 95% French Catholic. And then there was my group who were the non-French Baptists.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was, in the years before I lived there, like my parents' generation, they would have this half of the school and this half of the school, and the kids would not be allowed to leave the same doors because there'd be fights. So they'd run around to the playground, and then fights would ensue. Yeah. And then people would come back and be all bloodied and bruised and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
almost sounds like us with the English and French high school.
Exactly. Yeah. Or in Ireland with the Catholic and Protestant, or in Britain with the English and Irish. Like, there's so many times when you've got just this hatred based in nothing, like I shouldn't say I don't understand hatred. I understand it on an individual person to person basis. I get that. Somebody's done something to you. You got some animosity. I get that.
Yeah.
But groups of people to groups of people, I have a really hard time with, because like you said before, there's good and there's bad in everyone. Right?
Yep.
So, yeah. Yeah. Your area of Ontario where you live, is it generally fairly rural, or is it close to cities, fairly rural? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How big is your town?
Where I live now, it's about 2,500 people.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, there was 50 houses.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wow. Yep. There's
but it was place within short distance of a bigger town that had like
for sure
500 people.
Yeah, the 50 houses were like 8 kilometers away, and then there's just this little cluster.
Almost anyone in Ontario knows the name of it. It's called Hearst.
Okay. Why is it famous in Ontario?
I don't know. It's just you mention it somewhere in Ontario. Oh, I know where that is.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's very strange. Yeah, I guess it'd be kind of like in Saskatchewan, people are like, oh yeah, I know where PA is. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you don't have to describe
Well,
PA. You all know the initials, what that's there for. And
before the
yeah.
show, we were talking a little bit about country music.
Yes.
I'm an hour north of where Shania Twain was born and raised.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you a Shania fan or just a happens to be kind of thing?
Pardon me?
Are you a Shania fan?
No.
Okay. Oh, and Angie, of course, is bursting your bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never heard of it. Sorry. Yeah. No, it's kind of odd living. She hates her own music? Really?
She doesn't write.
Okay.
half of it.
No, she didn't for sure. I don't know if she does
No.
anymore. Still doesn't?
She used to when she first started because she had no choice.
Yeah.
But I don't think she writes much of it anymore.
Oh, wow. Well, that's too bad.
And she
It's hard
doesn't
to
even
do
like her
something
own.
you love. Pardon?
She doesn't even like her own hometown.
Really?
Like when they did the torch run for the Winter Olympics the one year, that
Yeah.
she did the Timmins part,
Yeah.
which is where she's from,
Yeah.
and they had to pay her to do it.
Wow.
She never visits the.
Oh, wow. Okay. Angie's full of really cool stuff. She hates country music, hates songs like Boots Are Made for Walking and Feel Like a Woman.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And actually, Justin Bieber's mom is from there also.
Yes.
She was born there, moved down south, and that's where Justin was born. He visits his grandparents once in a while still.
In Timmins.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, wow.
I've never seen him either.
I've never been a huge fan of his.
No.
But at the same time, I also look at what he went through as a child star.
Yeah.
And I have to just say, buddy, I wish your life could have been so different. He is very talented.
Especially with all that's coming out lately.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I feel so bad for him for all of that. Yeah. The amount of Canadian talent is astounding, and almost the only time I get patriotic.
If Ben Baconbits was here, he'd say, "Hey, Rush are Canadian."
Yes, they are. Yes, they
so
are.
BTO.
Yes, they are. Yeah. I always
April,
thought CCR was
too.
too.
I think,
Pardon?
April Wine.
Yes, that's Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a video on what was it, 10 or 20 bands that you didn't realize were Canadian. And yeah, I listen to this music and I'm like, well, yeah, this is all just normal music. It's hard for me to believe that people elsewhere weren't given this music. So yeah, and he was a Diddy victim, and it is really sad. Yes. Oh no. Indigo's power went out because there's a big storm. And yes, I'm so sorry, Alfonso. I did not send you the music because I have been sleeping. But I did get your email and I will send it to you.
What, you can't sleep email?
Pardon?
You can't sleep email?
No, I played some songs on my devotional the other day.
Yeah.
And he wanted some of it. And yeah, no. And like I was saying to you before we got on is part of my mental illness is that when I become overwhelmed, whether it be physically or emotionally just overwhelmed, my body shuts down and I sleep. And yeah,
Angie is saying Bare Naked Ladies, Alanis Morissette, Drake.
Yep.
And the
They're
list
all
goes
Canadian.
on, of course. But I got a fun
Absolutely.
fact about Alanis Morissette.
Okay. What is
She's
it?
a distant cousin of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Yes. Yep. So
There's
hey,
Brazy.
Brazy. Nice to see you. Avril Lavigne, Simple Plan, Chad Kroeger. Chad Kroeger is from a band called Nickelback. I went to a Nickelback concert a few years ago with my husband. We saw Nickelback, Cheap Trick, and somebody else. It was an awful, awful, awful concert. Like the acts themselves were okay. Musically, they were fine. But it was so full of swearing and sexual, not even innuendo, but just all of this stuff. It's like, dudes, you are so much more talented than this, that just really bothered me.
Hey, Davey.
Hey, Davey. Seth Rogen, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, the list goes on and on and on. Yes, absolutely. It sure does. So Jim Carrey is my friend's cousin. Wow. That's impressive. Alex Trebek, of course. Yes. Pam Anderson.
He was from a couple hours from here.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
Him and Alan Thicke.
Yes. Yeah. Jim Carrey, listening to his interviews these days has been very interesting because it's he talks about Jim Carrey that we all knew and loved and whatever was a character. It wasn't who he really was. And now he just wants to be who he really is, and nobody wants to be, next to that kind of guy just because he's so boring. He's not that all over the place. Alan Ripp.
William Shatner, yes.
Yeah. Dwayne Johnson isn't from Canada, but he did play on the Calgary Stampeders for about half a season.
He lived in Nova Scotia for a while.
Did he? Okay. Yeah. Will Shatner's definitely Canadian. Michael J. Fox, Celine Dion, Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland. Donald Sutherland's dad. No, Donald Sutherland's wife's dad. So his father-in-law was Tommy Douglas, who was the father of Medicare in Canada. So he was the father of, and he's from Saskatchewan, actually.
Wow.
So, just incredible knowing these very famous people.
Bryan Adams from Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keanu Reeves, Ryan Gosling. Yeah. Absolutely. And more importantly, Lord Kissfreak. He's from Canada. I mean, who doesn't know him? Yes. Mama A LKF. Yes. Dan Aykroyd, Tommy Chong. Yep. It's amazing. It's amazing the history and the culture that we have. So many famous people come from Canada. Yep. Why we weren't able to get them famous worldwide in Canada is kind of sad. Why did they have to go to the United States to become that famous worldwide? Yeah. And I am Canadian. Do you know that I am Canadian rant? The mostly Canadian?
I wouldn't be able to say it.
Oh, no.
I remember
the
commercials.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. No, there's that. And then the guy did a new one for today's Canada. That was very interesting. Elon Musk's grandmother was the first chiropractor in Saskatchewan, I think. Like something weird like that. Yeah. That's not a bragging point. I'll take it back if I need to.
Wasn't Elon born in Canada?
I don't know.
and moved very young.
To South
But
Africa?
he's got a couple of citizenships anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, we don't want him. You guys can have him, or South Africa can have him, or whoever
Yeah.
else. Yep. So let's see, who else do we have? No South African? I thought he lived in South Africa. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Apparently I am wrong. That rarely happens. I mean, come on now. You can write it down, the days. Kidding. Anyway.
Okay. So he was born in South Africa, came here young, then moved to the States.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Oh. And now she says, no, we're right.
Yep. As a woman, we're never wrong. Exactly. My sausage fingers move too fast.
Angie and her sausage fingers.
I don't have sausage fingers, but I do have long nails, and it makes it a little tough to type sometimes. Linda Landstrom, Red Lake. She was an 80s runway fashion icon. Oh, really? I did not know. Okay. I got my daddy's hands. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we sometimes get what we don't want to inherit. So, yes. So, Chris, is there anything that you want the world to know about you that is a pressing need that we need to know?
Not really anything we haven't discussed here.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. So, what keeps you out of trouble these days?
Well, the main thing that kept me out of trouble at the start was my second daughter being born.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And now it's just life in general. I have a house now. I have vehicles. I have the job.
Yeah. You have too much to lose, is what you have.
That's basically what it comes down to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yep.
Too much to lose, and nothing to gain by going back in.
Exactly. Like, it's not like you're after gang cred, or you're not after whatever. Are you sober and all that stuff too right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that ever anything you got into?
No, near the end of high school there, I would drink here and there, and that's about it.
A lot of kids, that's kind of the same.
I started working after high school. I'd come home, have one beer before dinner, and I'd fall asleep. Like, what's the point?
Exactly.
So I just stopped buying beer.
Yes, exactly.
And smoked a little weed throughout high school, a little bit after also. But it's something I could just put down like nothing.
Okay. So sober isn't really an issue for you then, which is
the thing
nice.
is, when I started selling drugs, then I started trying some of them, not all. And it was harder stuff like speed and ecstasy. But go on a little binge for a weekend, and that was it. And as soon as I got busted, did my time, I never touched anything after that.
Nice. Oh, that's good. That's really good. So you've been away from drugs for quite a while then.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And when I got arrested was 2007.
And tell them the forecast for Sunday? Are you guys expecting snow?
Yeah, they're calling for snow.
Snow this Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, yucko.
6 degrees Celsius daytime high.
Holy moly.
It was 28 degrees today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing how it just kind of shifts. Like the thing is bipolar. What can I say? You know, and I can say that because I am also
he's
bipolar.
PMSing big time.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, wow.
I know you are, Angie. But she's getting a lot of rain this weekend, so.
Oh, I wish. We need some rain. We need some rain where I live. My garden's looking a little bit parched. So, yeah, no, it's not going to be all that warm where we are either. So, have to take some longer shirts and sweaters and stuff like that. How do you spell toque? Okay, I've never seen it spelled that way. Is that how you spell it in Ontario?
No.
Oh, there we go. There she is.
She was being funny.
Okay. Oh, I'm too much of a literalist, I guess, when it comes to the English language. Yeah. Anyway, so she spelt. So I am going camping this weekend. And what are you up to for the May long weekend?
Not too much because it's raining all weekend.
Oh, okay.
And it turns to snow at some point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out for a rip. How about you, bud? I have one student.
I like that song.
Yeah?
Yeah. They actually sued and won Coca-Cola for that song.
Really?
They put that phrase on their cans for a bit.
Oh, okay. What song is that from?
It's a bunch of guys from Alberta. It's called Out for a Rip.
Oh, okay.
It's on YouTube.
Cool. All right. F y'all just out for a rip. Yep. Little skidoo ready. Yep. Yeah, there's so many phrases that in Saskatchewan and Canada. I see
Angie has heard the song.
Yeah, apparently. Yes. Oh, Mandy wants to know if you play any games. Are you a games kind of guy? Video, tabletop, RPG, board games, any of that?
Maybe Tetris once in a blue moon. But no, I don't really play much video games.
Yeah. No, I'm not really into video games. I play a few tabletop games. I play 1 or 2 card games. Yeah. But
I'm always up for game night. Like I get together, pull out a couple board games, and yeah.
I have a nephew who's actually a board game developer. He creates board games. Yeah.
Oh. And yes, Brazy, I fiddle in the garage.
There you go. So do you fiddle in the garage or do you just fiddle around? Okay.
It's more of a tinker.
More of a tinkerer. All right. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, I do need to get ready for this weekend. And it has been lovely getting to know you a bit more. We will have to figure out something else to talk about and have you back on sometime. That'd be great.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome. Oh, that's a secret. All righty. I love y'all. Thank you for coming out tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Everyone, for being here.
Yes, it was wonderful. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Some come with scars, some come with dreams. In this circle, we're more than what we seem. No judgment here, just voices to be heard. Through laughter, through the tears, we find it.